Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Let's do some emails.
Yes, I love emails. The written word, Tom.
Yeah.
I
Sometimes
guess it's typed now, huh?
Sometimes
Yeah.
emails come off a little better than voicemail because I feel like people get nervous when they're leaving a voicemail
Yeah.
sometimes, and then they get distracted by something or off topic, and emails are concise.
I mean, arguably, and I'm on the front lines here, most voicemails are unusable. Most of them.
Well, a lot of these are just a paragraph long, but one sentence.
Okay.
With no grammar.
That's fair.
So,
All
yeah.
right. Hit us.
Daniel, I'm sure this has been answered, but golf course heads are always under pressure and have their own solenoid on each head. It's entirely possible to break it with a golf cart. Respectfully, Chris, Jenna's stepdad, and owner of BH Irrigation.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm just like I don't think people are understanding common sense. Let me just try for all you idiots out here. Now you're making me get. Now I'm
You've
gonna have to get
escalated it.
Yeah, you've escalated.
Negativity.
Now I'm gonna have to get. Yeah, I'm throwing all the negativity. Just put on my negativity hat here for a second and just talk to all these idiots that have been emailing and trying to besmirch the good name of my business partner, Thomas Chisholm Van. I am the only member of this program that has played golf over 100+ times on courses, okay? I grew up playing golf with my dad. I used to play 3 times a week, spent way too much money on it, had all the gimmicks and all the clubs and all the toys, okay? Used to play with Drew Garabo. You can call him and check my work if you don't believe me. And I have driven golf carts up to the side of almost every tee box in Orlando, except for all the expensive-ass Disney courses that we were never playing, okay? And I can tell you, it is not, not a thing. Is it possible? Are they all under pressure? Sure, I'll give you that. But have you played golf? Have you ever driven a cart? So you got a foursome that's playing through. Where do they put their blanket golf carts? What do they do with them? They have to put them on the side. And guess what doesn't break? And guess what doesn't spray into the air like a geyser? The sprinkler heads. So stop. Just blank and stop. Stop emailing me about
Should
it.
I not read anymore?
It's just not a thing. And for all you guys that want to believe in your heart so badly that Tom is wrong on this one, I'm disappointing you. And I'm sorry. He's not wrong all the time. And I know that's what you want, but it's just not a thing. And am I defending him? No. I'm defending every 100+ time that I played golf at a golf course and never saw that. Ever. It's not a thing. So stop.
I'm with them.
Okay. There you go.
Oh, sorry.
Best of BDM Year 3. Hi all, I was just listening to my favorite podcast and mindlessly doing some housework when I heard my own voice on Best of BDM Year 3. I just want to thank you all for letting me tell about my childhood and teen years growing up in a cult. Chatting with you guys was sort of my therapy I didn't know I needed, and it helped to just get it all out. Since then, a number of people I have met in cult recovery groups specific to Armstrong and the Worldwide Church of God have spoken out on different platforms or podcasts. I've always encouraged them to do so because I felt such a sense of relief after chatting with you guys. Often people are reluctant to share for fear of being made fun of or shunned by members of their family still in various cults, all stemming from Armstrong. I really feel that sharing my experience chatting with you guys has helped others to be more open about their experiences and more inclined to speak up. Thanks for letting me do that. P.S. Yesterday, my 9-year-old was walking through the house singing the Weird Job Wednesday song.
Yeah, it's catchy. It's a bit of an earworm.
Yeah, so for non-BDMs, we, Casey put together a best of BDM Year 3 of all our BDM shows, and one of them was the cult show that we've done.
For a split second, and because I think I just have some residual Delta 9 in me, you said, for non-BDMs, we put together a Year 3, and I was like, oh my God, did I release that to non-BDMs?
Oh, yeah.
And I literally was flogging my, yeah, you're the fucking idiot.
I was like,
now see, I blew it.
for
I'm
non-
cursing on AZT.
For
You got to
non-B-
mark that. But that's
No,
what I
the
was
BDM
doing.
show.
I'm flogging myself like, why did you do that?
I'm telling non-BDMs
Gotcha.
what this
Gotcha.
is in reference
I didn't catch
to.
your audio
I
comma.
know. So the whole cult thing is fascinating. I know, Sam, you were.
Yeah, I just watched a docuseries on Hulu called Stolen Youth. And it's not, I mean, it is definitely a cult, but it's a very small, controlled cult. It's like a cult of, like, at the max it was 10, and then it kind of started slowly
There's a term for that,
dwindling
like
down.
I don't know, like a microcult or something. Yeah, but there are, because your influence can only go so much. But yeah, there are a lot of those. I started watching one the other day in the car. That was a dude that was just a serial killer dude that just started getting a couple of followers, not necessarily a cult, but just had a couple people that he was just killing with. Just like killing buddies or something.
Do you think you could ever... I think I know Sam's answer. I'm curious because I was going to say, do you ever believe in a human or anybody, even if you thought it was like a deity or whatever, just believe in a person that much to follow them or go, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't think I could ever believe
in much of anything enough.
In one person that
I don't
much.
believe in myself enough. You know what I mean?
You know, because the people that are in cults, they just like the leader, they just believe in them so much. You know, it's like they believe all of whatever you're saying.
Aren't they normally taking advantage of some sort of thing that maybe you need that they can provide, you know, mentally?
That happens. Well, they'll eventually strip you of everything, so you depend on them. Sure, yeah.
They get in there, they find the thing that you know, maybe attracts you to them, and then they use that to do nothing but break you down and manipulate you and kind of build you back up in their kind of the way that they want.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of psychology behind it, but I guess just the simple fact that someone... But like, this is the guy. I'll follow this guy to hell.
Is it sort of the same way that
crazy?
And I don't mean that I'm in a cult now, but okay, so I wasn't as much on board with Andrea's organizational ways when we first got together, but I have come to see her strengths. Am I in a cult? Or is that, like, you know what I mean? Like, when we first got together, I was like, well, the way I do things is just as valuable as the way she does things. But as time has gone on, she has Stockholm syndrome to me into believing that her way is far superior because it is.
Well, becoming super dependent on someone is part of the psychology.
Oh, wait a minute. Maybe he is in a cult.
Yeah, as I said, we nailed it.
Well, but that's part of how the cult leader
manipulates you.
Yeah, gets you in there, because then you can't leave because you're dependent on this person for your food, your shelter, your security, all the stuff. So it's like, it's
a lot of psychological manipulation though to get to that point.
Of course, yeah. And,
I like the cults where they have rooms inside their compound that are just filled with weaponry that they're going to need at some point.
No, yeah.
They put that in all the, like, in the last Far Cry video game that I played, you are kind of infiltrating this area of, like, the Appalachian. Well, it's kind of like Appalachian Mountain, but way out west, Montana-ish area, which is not the Appalachian Mountains, but, like, more of a... like a cult guy, and you're kind of coming after him and his followers.
Yeah.
You know, and they steal from, like, real life stories, you know, like people living underground, like those girls that lived underground for forever, and, you know, like, and they put it all in the video games, and it's like, it is fascinating, man, because it's just so unbelievable. Like, it's hard for us to believe that anybody could do it, right?
I could see the steps, like, as I try to put myself in position and see myself like, okay, how, you know, because it's easy to discount and be like, oh, how could you fall for this or whatever, but then it's like, all right, let's, like, I imagine if there's some super successful, I'm just role playing this, right? Say there's some super successful business guy in Orlando, right? And I see what he's doing, he's like, and then he's like all about, like, working out and business and grind and, like, you know, the stuff that I'm like,
yeah. He's
and
like,
then
you
I'm
gotta find the competitive edge.
Yeah. He's like, find the edge, and this is, you know, in statistics, whatever the hell I say.
But just things that you like. Yeah, you're right.
And then I'm like, oh, this guy knows where it's at, right? And then I go to one of his seminars one day, and I sit down, and it's at a Hyatt Regency,
and it inspires you, right?
And
you
then
get a little.
And then he's just hyping me up. He's like, go out there and sell, and he's like, he's like, keep working out and grind and all this stuff. And then I'm like, yeah. And then all of a sudden I pay for seminars, books, and I'm into it.
He's telling you all the things you want to hear. Like, you can visit Pity City, but don't live there.
And then I find myself, like, I'm like, oh, I'm doing better. Like, I'm working out, and I feel good, and and I actually see results.
Look at our company. It's
and
thriving.
Our business is working because I'm working harder at it. Like,
it's a little bit of the conversation we had with Ross about Airborne. If you believe it, it'll work.
And then, but it's also just like obvious stuff, like
like common sense. Yeah,
work out and work hard, and
your life will get better. Yeah,
but you start believing, you're like, this guy knows the secrets, right?
Yeah.
But then he's
just executing the stuff that we all know.
I start bringing Crystal,
and it's like, you know, it's better when we do this workout in the nude, and then it just gets weirder and weirder.
Well, that's after I bring Crystal, and then I get her into it.
There are studies on that.
And then at one point, there's like we go on a retreat, and you pay a lot, and then we're sitting there, we're in the Bahamas, and I'm like, yeah, this is the we're talking about business.
This is him. This is the guru.
And then
he calls himself Vector.
And then he's like, all right, last thing, I'm gonna suck your wife's tits.
We're doing ACT, man. As if I hadn't worked hard enough this week. I mean, my fingers are bleeding.
I was just trying to make the Twitch chat room.
Oh, come on.
Oh, my God.
And then I'm like, oh, God, we're already in the Bahamas. So like, I guess this is part of it.
Yeah, and then you look at her and you're like, come on.
yeah.
Just do it.
Because I want him to like me.
You're like, it's just the left one. That's the smaller one. Like,
yeah. And then you're like, oh, I've sold all my things, and I'm like, I'm living on this guy's property.
I have a rat tail and floofy pants with no underwear on.
So it just happens little by little, and then all of a sudden you're in your situation. You're like, whoa, I already sold my house, and now this guy has all my tax information.
But the one I like the most out of all of these that we talk about, the ones I like the most are the ones that hit the fan and then they're able to go back to normal, like Jerry Falwell Jr., who's like, they're back there, like he's on Twitter like, Merry Christmas, everything's fine, no big deal here. And I'm just like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
How do you push that away and still live an awesome life? Because it looks like he is, right?
You just...
No problems.
Well...
Don't worry, be happy.
I'm sure it caused a lot of money flow issues.
Yeah, but if you have a ton of
it's
money,
still
it
there.
doesn't matter.
No, I know.
Yeah, you just...
Whether it matters or not, like I'm sure he took a hit, but it's, and he's also never going to admit it publicly. Because it's always about...
He's just carrying on like it was her fault.
Yeah, and don't even talk about it ever again.
Yeah, never.
Because your followers
but it's still
don't...
going on, right, behind the scenes?
Oh, yeah.
Because that's an insatiable, sex thirst that they have, right? They cannot They cannot turn that off. It's not like they stopped and they're like, hey, we can never do this again with the pool boy deal. And that's like, this is all done. We never do this again. We're just going to go back to being... You have to continue doing it. You just got to be more careful, right?
He's addicted to it.
Right.
This is his thing.
Yeah, this is the thing. So it's going on now is what I'm saying.
I'm sure, yeah.
How do you lock it down, though, this time?
I mean, he was pretty loose with it.
He was extremely loose with it.
You could
drinking vodka in the water bottle. You'd be doing sermon.
You could pay people and have them sign NDAs. I mean, that happens.
And just threaten them.
The NDAs you sign and threaten with the lawsuits.
Lean on
and
them,
then, and then the
It's
people...
a lot of blackmail.
Yeah, and there are people making money, so they're just like, all right.
Yeah.
And
you got to pay them, obviously,
you pay them off.
good.
Yeah. And it's like, you throw money at it. How many...
That's crazy, dude.
I mean, think about what's going on now that we don't know. A lot.
Oh, man. All I know is what I don't know. What else you got, Sam?
Concert fashion. Hello, Tom, Dan, and Sam. I just went to my first country music concert show and noticed most crowd members dressed up. I was wondering if you ever wore country fashion, and if you consider what you wear when going to any concert. Shout out to Tuffy's Music Box Primo sound system.
I've never really, I don't think, authentically worn country fashion unless
I have cowboy boots, but
I was a young boy. I had cowboy boots and like Wranglers and like a Western shirt, but I didn't grow up on a ranch. I'm not a cowboy. I don't consider Florida anything cowboy. I know there is cattle here, and I know that there are Florida cowboys, but that was not my experience. I was a middle of Florida, pseudo beach trash Floridaman, and never dabbled in. My dad did have boots. He liked his boots and his cowboy hats, but I think he just did that because he liked Westerns.
Yeah. I have a question for you because it dawned on me.
I do want cowboy boots, but Andrea has said, like, when are you going to wear them? And I'm like, I don't know. If I never buy them, I'll never wear them, right? That's the true. You'll never wear them if you never buy them.
I just feel they're if you are not an
would you make fun
outdoorsman,
of
me? Yes, I would.
Just for wearing a nice pair of cowboy boots?
Because I'd be like, why? This is not really you.
They're comfortable. This is the new me. Hold on, let's role play. This is the new me.
But
this is where I want to go. They're comfortable. I've been wearing them every day.
Are they more comfortable than Vans?
Well, okay. This is a sidebar. I'm pulling out. Break the third wall. Anybody that wears cowboy boots all the time, I'll talk to him. Like even Forrest, the photographer for Mo DeWitt.
Yeah.
I'll talk to Forrest. I'll be like, hey, I like your boots. Are they comfortable? And every bootman, if you're a bootman listening, call up, shoot me an email, show@tomanddan.com, and let me know. They will tell me this area is, oh, man, more comfortable than a pair of goddamn Reebok. They all say that. more comfortable than a pair of Nike Airs. They all say that. If you get a pair of worn-in cowboy boots, watch the chat room. It'll start swirling with cowboys suddenly that are like, best thing you ever put on your feet, man. I won't go anywhere without my Red Wings.
But I wonder if they grew up wearing them and so their feet are accustomed to it or something, you know?
Well, it's all about the insole, right? I guess you could put a
All pink on the inside, what I heard.
aftermarket insole, and
You don't put aftermarket insoles in a Tony Lama cowboy boot, sir.
because
It's already built to conform to your feet with real American premium grade leather.
Because it's about the insole and not about the top of your foot, and it, you know what I'm saying? Like,
But I
when
think,
you're walking,
I think it's the way you walk in it and you sweat in it, and it kind of molds to your feet. So I've always heard that a good pair of cowboy boots, if you spend good money and buy a nice, like, pair of handmade boots or like premium made, that they will wear and be better for your back and feet than sneakers. I don't believe that, but that's what I've been told.
But they couldn't be more comfortable than a pair of Nike Shox, right? Like
I don't even know if they make Nike Shox.
no,
anymore.
I'm just saying. Like it's a tennis shoe. It's just like there's all this gel and air in it in the bottom of the cowboy boots. It's just a hard leather.
Yeah, it's just leather.
Yeah.
I think it's just something they like to say. I don't know. There's probably a word for this, but it's like something you'd like to say to justify the fact that you're wearing something that's a little tougher than what I'm wearing. Like if I came in wearing Crocs and I said it can't be more comfortable than these Crocs, because Crocs are blanking comfortable, right? Like
you're standing on foam.
Yeah, it's like standing on a cloud. So I think that harder men or cowboys like to say, "No, man, that's for babies. This is more comfortable than Nike Shox."
Well,
I think it's a thing.
Yeah, for babies, I agree. And maybe they should start saying it's more comfortable than you think.
That's
Maybe,
good.
yeah.
That's good.
It can't be more comfortable than a tennis shoe,
Right.
because
tennis shoes are made for comfort.
unless there's some sort of
Right.
insole
the
in there that's a
intent-
gel insole.
You're an intent man,
You're
right?
standing on leather.
No, you're an
hard
intent
ass
man.
leather.
There are some sneakers that the intent of is to be a recovery shoe, to be comfortable. That is the intent. The boot intent is not to be comfortable. It's to be durable.
Like, you know, the Reef Sandals that are just basically a strip of leather that's cut out into a foot shape. And it, like, you know, reefs.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
These
yeah.
are leather reefs are kind of like a dress sandal.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
all it is like you're standing on a
it's
saddle.
Like, it's like
leather.
a thong. Like, yeah.
But it's just
thong sandal.
It's just a piece of leather.
Right.
And then standing there, like, that compared to my UFOs, it can't ever be this.
It'll
like,
never be as comfortable.
An UFO is
It's
just
got premium foam technology.
Yeah, it's just you're standing on a pillow of foam,
Yeah.
and then one's so the same thing would be with cowboy boots, or you're standing on just leather.
I'm just going on the stereotype that hey, call, make it the new divining rods.
Back to dressing up for concerts. So
Yeah.
I'm going to this last No Effect show in September.
What are you wearing, bro?
You gonna do Liberty Spikes?
Well,
You need to wear black and white checkerboard pants, grow your chops down, and pretend to be the lead singer of Real Big Fish.
I thought about this. This is how much I like.
Kilt?
I'm like, should I wear Converse as opposed?
Oh,
to
your
just-
feet are gonna hurt so bad. You're 40 years old now,
you should
bro.
wear Converse over flip flops, though.
Is it outside? It is, right? It's outside.
Yeah.
That's gonna be miserable.
I know. And by the way, my friends.
I'm not going, by the way. Tom thought
It's
I was
attached-
going.
I thought you were going too.
Yeah, Tom thought I was going.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I put my foot down. The last No Effect show I saw, you know, I mean, I've seen him one time that was incredible with you, and then I saw one time with you with them, and I'm like,
If it wasn't for all my friends going, I probably wouldn't have gone. But
Yeah.
since all my friends are going, I'm looking at it like
They burned me.
We all grew up listening to this in high school. Now we're seeing their last show in our 40s, so it's just kind of like
the last
thing.
hurrah.
Yeah. It's like
Oh, yeah. Andrea reminded me I am going to see Blink-182 in Turnstile.
But is that
So-
their last show?
No,
Or just-
no.
Well, they've got back together. It's their first tour back together
Oh,
as
yeah,
the
yeah,
original
yeah,
band,
yeah.
which is kind of cool.
So
Wear Converse, yeah, man. Or
No.
maybe go and splurge on a nice pair of
but
like dad sneakers, but don't make them daddios. Get yourself a nice
I'll say,
pair.
as a person who doesn't normally wear shoes, do not wear Converse
Yeah,
at a concert.
Just wear good sneakers. She wears a lot of Converse too.
So I have sneakers, but they're daddy-os.
No.
You don't think that everybody there is going to be wearing daddy-os? You haven't been to a concert lately.
No, I
Especially No Effects fans. They're all daddy-os.
Yeah, they're all fatty-os.
Daddy-o fatty-os.
I know, yeah, but we're all reliving
It's
some
a
sort
fatty
of
daddy.
punk rock. There's a punk rock show.
Dude, I go to Fest every year. There's
Trust
a lot
me,
of daddy-os.
Nobody will be reliving punk rock.
There's literal threads of people saying, which shoes are you going to wear
They're
this
just
year?
going to be
I don't wanna
standing
be a
there
nerd,
watching
Dad.
it. Everyone's like, play the decline.
Yeah, yeah.
Drink their beer.
Fat Mike's going to wear New Balances.
Yeah, but he dresses like you got
Yeah,
lingerie
he looks
on.
like a-
He's a
let's
punk
be
rock.
honest.
Yeah.
Look, he looks disgusting. Let's just be honest. With his haircut, his leather
It's fine,
jacket, his
but
dress, his kilt, his
punk rock.
lingerie, you look like a dirty fool.
But it was like
You look disgusting.
but I'm afraid to try hard at all because I don't want to be a try hard. Like, look at that daddy-o he put on Converse. He thinks
Well,
he's
they can't
back
be
in,
new. Do you
2000.
are you
They're
going to
gonna be
buy
bright
new, or are you going to go
white.
buy brand new
No,
ones?
I have them. I have Converse shoes. I never wear them though.
Well, then they're bright white.
No. They've been since the
They got
radio
some scuffs.
days.
They got some scuffs.
They're 20 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wear those.
But then everybody's gonna be like, "What do you? Come on."
No, they're not. They're not even going to know.
My friend, because I just
Oh.
dress in shorts and sandals and a polo every day of my life, basically,
Just
or
wear
a
your
t-shirt.
sandals.
But then I'm just like, well, look at this.
Yeah, dress up a little bit. Have some
no-
respect
What do you
for
mean? You're at a
yourself.
Florida festival. Sandals are fine.
Well,
Unless
just-
you're going to get in the pit, which you're probably not.
It's back to like going to the country concert. You should have the one more step of fun, which is
Just
Cowboy
wear a band
Boots
T-shirt.
And
He doesn't have any band T-shirts.
Didn't you buy a Newfound Glory one? Even though you don't listen
they're
to
for
it?
my sons.
Oh, you didn't get one?
Wear one of their tiny shirts.
Oh,
and a
crap top.
like a belly shirt.
That's in, actually.
I don't even have a band shirt now. I think about it. I've got
what
all
I
Tom
said.
and
Do you have a
Dan.
black T-shirt? I mean, it's going to be hot as hell,
I
but...
got- yeah.
Where's this at?
It's somewhere in Tampa. And there's and by the way, my friends are like, oh, there's a beer fest. Apparently, like they attach.
Oh,
there's
that's
like a
gonna
beer
be-
fest during the day.
vomit crazy.
And they're like, let's go early for the
St.
beer
Pete,
fest.
right?
I'm like, beer fest? I don't want to like. I
be
just sit in the
barf
hotel
crazy.
and
Oh,
drink.
my
I don't sit, go to the hot ass.
You're
like
walking around to get a
samples.
tiny sample. Who likes beer fest?
Well,
Uh-oh.
no, but you know what I'm saying. Tanner, you know, like when I go in the heat
Look,
and drink some
I put on beer
triple
fest.
IPA
I put on beer
sample.
fest. I don't go to beer
Yeah,
fest.
But we're just.
I'm like a drug dealer.
Well, it's just like we're all hanging out together. Let's just stay at the hotel and hang out.
Oh, you're
going to
be a lot of fun. They're trying to do fun stuff, and they're like, "Can't we just sit at the hotel?
Well, I'm
and
stand-
then we have to put our shoes on."
I'm gonna go stand in a field in the heat for 3 ounces of triple
Three
hot.
thimbles.
Yeah. 3
Three
thimbles.
thimbles of hot porter.
Some thick
Oh
porter.
God, coffee flavored porter.
Like, here's some
Here,
coffee.
try this. This is a imperial stout.
Yeah,
Who's
yeah, yeah.
opening, do you know?
They
I
may
don't
not
know.
have an opener.
I don't know. Sam, I don't know.
Oh no,
Okay.
they've been bringing bands, and then like finding people locally. Might be could be somebody we know. Could be like a debt neglector or somebody Tampa. I don't know all the Tampa bands.
If it wasn't for Crystal, I'd never see my friends again.
No.
Oh, my God.
And it's not. I love seeing it. It's every time I hang out with them, I'm like, this is the best.
the
Let's do it every
the
single
St.
weekend.
Pete show's the very last show, so you get to see the very last
Oh,
show
that's pretty
ever.
cool. That's cool.
That's what Andres was saying in the camping trip, but I was doubting. I was like, but they're going to Europe after this. I thought they were going
Oh,
Well,
somewhere.
yeah.
very last U.S. show.
Yeah, they are going to Europe.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, well, that's not as good. To me, I was like,
And then
if it's the last of the last,
I would venture a guess that they're gonna come back from Europe and then probably do something else in
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It's never the
like,
last.
You know, where are they from? L.A. or Long Beach or?
Because you'll get this reunion tour money and all the fat
Well, I
dads
think
like
now
me.
he's just going to focus on the punk rock museum, right?
And his new band. He's got a new band called what are they called? The Co-Defendants.
Is the punk rock museum just that Airbnb they had?
It
No
may
idea.
it may be, but I don't think it is. I think it's a bigger building
Okay.
because I've been reading up on it. It looks pretty cool. Like a lot of people have been going through there and actually saying they really like it. A couple bands, like one of the things he's been doing, which I think is very clever, is that he'll get bands that are in that area to swing through. So let's say that Rise Against was on tour, but coming around that area.
Yeah.
He'll reach out to them because he's got just about every connection you could have, and then have them swing through so they can see the museum and then play.
Okay.
It's smart. You know, like, and you get all those guys in there. I mean, you can't, it won't fail if you keep pumping new punk through there.
Yeah.
It may work.
And then the tourism, all the people go to LA. They're like,
I would go to it. I mean, if I could, I would go to it.
Isn't it? It was
Las
in Vegas.
Vegas.
Oh, it's in Vegas.
Vegas.
Yeah. I mean, and then you need another revenue source, I guess. I don't know. Fat Mike's probably set up, right? What is he worth?
I don't know.
Probably less than what after his
See,
divorce.
I also think that a lot of people think people just because they've been in bands for a long time are set up. It's not necessarily true either. And we also don't know how he spent his money or he's been through a couple divorces.
Yeah. I just know he made a bunch of money through Fat Records. I think that's where And then I mean, damn, NoFX has been touring for what? 25
They haven't toured in
years?
a while though.
A very long time. We saw him in what? 20.
It says he's worth $5 million.
Okay.
I think we saw him in like 2016, 2017.
Not that much.
That's what I'm saying.
For a career of 30 years of, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like most people can earn $5 million over 30 years pretty easily. Well,
they can earn it, but not have.
Yeah. Well,
what do you think he owns?
That's the thing. Like a lot, like these whole celebrity net worth, I think they take into account properties and stuff too, right? Like
assets. I would
assume. That's what I was thinking. Is like, do you think he owns that building that the punk rock museum would be in?
I don't know.
Does the building hold any
just
specific punk rock, influence? See, that's the only thing I was questioning when he was talking about opening. I was like, well, you would want it if you could to be in like Johnny Rotten's old house or place of birth, or at the old CBGB's, or at the old 930 Club in DC, or you know what I mean? Like, wouldn't you want it to be in a iconic punk venue? You made it maybe impossible to do it, but
CBGB's as a punk museum would have been good.
Right. Like, I mean, I'm surprised, like Michael Jackson, when they've been talking about Neverland Ranch being a Michael Jackson museum, I'm like,
that
yes,
makes sense.
that makes sense. I get it.
Although, who's booking that one?
A lot of people. People still go to the Michael Jackson Cirque du Soleil show.
Yeah.
He's still mega popular, man.
Yeah.
Like, not to those of us that think, oh, that guy's a weirdo or whatever you want to think about him. Child molester, his nose fell off, whatever.
Yeah.
But there are plenty of people that if you mention him, they start crying because they mean that much to him, especially in other countries.
Yeah, no, 100%. I just, to build a museum, I was like, are you going to get enough people buying tickets?
I think you could. Yeah,
I would think so,
If you put everything back to normal.
I mean, Elvis, his old home was a
Graceland goes, man.
Yeah, Elvis never had the accusations.
Yeah, he married a 14-year-old girl.
Oh, yeah, different time.
Different time. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, something,
it's a little different. When your nose falls off and you have a child having to identify birthmarks on your penis, it's a little different. A little bit different. What else you got over there, Sam?
Sorry, I was reading who owned the actual museum. I never trust anyone that hasn't broken a bone. I had a conversation with a few colleagues recently, and the topic of broken bones came up. There were 5 of us, and all of us were over the age of 40. 3 of the 5 had never broken a bone. One had broken their arm, and then there was me. I was absolutely fearless and wasn't scared of much growing up. I played basketball my entire life, skateboarded for most of my life, and grew up riding 3-wheelers and 4-wheelers. I've broken both ankles and both wrists multiple times. I've broken my left leg and right arm, boxers fractured 3 times, collarbone, and pretty much every toe and finger. I have cut off more of my own casts than the average person has even had casts. I have rheumatoid arthritis in both wrists from the multiple breaks not healing correctly, and also drink too much. My hands stay numb, but I'm not wearing braces at night because it would interfere with my social agenda. I've also had hundreds of stitches.
Hold on.
At 16, hold on, I'm almost done. At 16, in one accident alone, I received 76 stitches in my face. Has anybody on the show ever broken a bone? If so, how many and which ones?
Yeah.
I only had a hairline fracture in my arm once.
Is your argument, though,
but I had to wear a cast.
This is somehow a better way to live? Because you described the horrible pain you're going through.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds like this is a type of behavior that should be frowned upon. You know what I'm saying? Like, take a bunch of chances. I don't trust anybody who doesn't, even though I'm paying for them all now.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, the other people don't have arthritis, and they don't have to sleep with the stuff in their hands.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I have a lot of arthritis just because it probably runs in the family. I have Broken bones for me would be I fractured this shoulder. That's why I can't touch it like this one. I can't push. I can push that arm. Oh my God. I can push it all the way down, but it really hurts. So I had a hairline fracture in this elbow, and then I just messed up my knee. But that's about it, really. I don't think I've ever technically broken. Like, I've never had a cast. I've never had a sling.
See, mine wasn't a break. It was a hairline fracture, but I had to wear a cast for like 6 months.
Yeah.
Because it went like all the way up my arm.
Yeah, I had to wear a foot cast. I broke all my toes.
I bet that hurt.
Yeah. On a 3-wheeler, I've told that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain when my arm got broken that my teachers thought like some bad stuff was going on at home because they all like asked me questions, even though bad stuff was going on at home.
Right.
It was just a fight with my brother, you know,
not that
just
bad.
an accident.
Right.
You know what?
I mean,
they did that to me in the 80s or maybe.
which is kind of surprising looking back.
It
They
is.
profiled
because-
you guys as
With all the other
Yeah.
stuff that was wrong with me, they didn't ask
They
any
pro-
questions.
they
It was just when the
profiled-
cast came out.
I know for a fact that teachers would ask the kids that thought they were Native American if they got
For me, I think it was the poor kids.
trashy homes.
Like I ran into the back of a swamp buggy's exhaust
Yes, you did. Of course you did.
when I was.
You're proving our
What were
point.
you, were you chasing a frog?
No, I was riding my Suzuki 50 4-wheeler in the Everglades, and
In a diaper?
I had a diaper.
Oh.
And I was I had a helmet, but the whole face was open. So it was
Okay,
like the
yeah.
80s. It covered the ears like your Daniel Scooter helmets that you get, you know. And then I was looking back at mud, apparently, like trying to see
Oh,
my
you were
tires.
mesmerized by mud.
And then,
Look at that sweet, sweet
And then you
mud.
turned around, you're like, God, I love mud. Oh, mud, I love you. Gang!
And you don't want to go on a mud walk.
and then I ran into the back of the exhaust into my face.
Oh, my
four-wheeler.
God, man.
And then it apparently
Did you have a black ring around your face?
Did your eye pop out like Renner?
no, it gave me 2 black eyes, you know, and like
Oh,
a bloody
yeah.
nose. And then
I've seen
apparently
those videos.
they brought my mom. They called my mom.
Wait a minute, you
to-
were in school in diapers?
I guess maybe I wasn't in diapers.
It's underpants. It's your tiny whities.
Yeah. I started
Pair of
riding
shorts.
maybe preschool. No, I don't know.
Could have been preschool.
And maybe I was out of diapers by this time. Don't know.
Well, you just got out of diapers a couple
It's
of
a-
years ago.
He's back in. He got
Who
back
knows
in a
how
couple
long
years
I was
ago.
in diapers in the 80s?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know
God.
either.
I don't think
It's a blurred past.
no one like now you're shamed on social media or whatever, but like back in the 80s no one knew, like whatever, you know.
Yeah.
If your kid had diapers
Oh, you didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, when he went to school,
You're
he
too
didn't poop
lazy
his
to-
pants. Yeah, when he got home, he'd poop everywhere.
Anyway, but they did call my mom into the office and like have a conversation, which
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
My
Yeah.
mom was a
That
teacher.
they were that
so-
diligent.
Yeah, my mom was a teacher at most of the schools I went to. So, I mean, they wouldn't have, they were just, are you beating him? Yeah, but I wasn't. I do remember being at church, and I remember they would do children's sermon, and they called all the children up to the front, and all the children would sit, and then the preacher would come down. Like kind of like Jesus would, you know,
Oh.
let the children come unto me, and he'd tell them stories. So the preacher would come out of the pulpit, he'd sit on the stairs, and he'd ask all the kids to come down and like gather around him, and then he'd tell some whimsical story that has some sort of a parable, kind of a learning, teaching moment thing, right? And the particular preacher that was talking that day was doing this kind of pontificating about how God can be a shelter over you to protect you from the evils and, you know, the harms of the world. And he had an umbrella, and he opened the umbrella and he held it over him, and he's like, see, God can be like this umbrella to protect you from the elements of the hard and cold world outside. And I raised my hand, and the preacher asked me yes, and I said, that's my mom's umbrella. I know it's hers because there's a cigarette burn in it. That's what I said. So I, too, come from a long line of trash. Just wanted to weigh in. I wanted to laugh and play as well. My mom said, my mom was playing organ that day.
Smoking in the rain.
Yeah, my mom was.
Look.
My mom was
You need
playing.
the umbrella.
My mom was playing organ that day, and she promptly got off the organ bench. And there's a door that you could slip through, and she slipped through the door so she could hide, so people wouldn't stare at her.
It's funny how many people smoke cigarettes in the 80s. It
Dude,
was everybody.
people- I
It was
think
everybody,
People
right?
are still doing it, man.
They are still doing
No,
it.
but not. I mean,
not as
No,
many.
of course
no,
not
it's
as
no, no,
abundant
no.
as
insane. I
before.
mean, what did it go down 70%? I mean, people used to just smoke all the time. I mean, there was across the street from our school in the high school and even middle school, whatever. There was just crowds of 30, 40, 50 people
Yeah.
just smoking.
When my mom was in high school, she said they had a smoking section for kids on campus.
Yes,
Yeah.
when I was in ninth grade,
We had that too.
kids used to smoke by the portables, and that's where they told us to smoke. And I would go there with during lunchtime with me, and then all the high school kids in ninth grade Miami Southwest.
Wow.
We had a gas station we all had to walk down to.
Because that they changed the rule the next year, and you had to be 1,000 feet from the school.
They made you get off school property. I remember that.
And then everybody. I remember driving by every day. There would be right at this corner, which was 1,000 feet from the school. There were the
You'd
smokers.
see a huddled,
Yeah, and all the kids and staff and stuff would have to smoke over there.
But now you can just now kids just vape wherever they want, right?
Yeah.
Once you're at a mom and dad site, you just grab your vape pen and toot toot. You know,
There's some parents that don't even care if they vape
yeah. I mean, it's just
because they think it's safer. I don't know the science.
I don't either.
It seems better than smoking, but still, you're addicted to
Something.
Yeah. It's I guess the actual nicotine can be beneficial for you.
It's a stimulant.
And it also does some other things.
Yeah,
to your body,
there are benefits to it.
Yeah.
I will tell you that I'm
But
bad.
you have to not take it into your lungs or just put a patch.
Do the lozenges.
If you're coming to my house to do any work, and it's or heavy work, it's got to be heavy work, and you're outside, and I see you park and you're outside, and you smoke before you come in, I take you a little more seriously because and I know that a lot of people will be like, I don't want that smell in my head. No. You're going about it all wrong. I feel like this guy's so stressed out and working so hard, he needs that cigarette.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, this is a good goddamn American worker right here, smoking that cigarette, getting himself right before he comes in. I appreciate it. And I take you more seriously if you smoke before you come into my home.
It's funny to think that everybody at a time, I mean 50s and stuff, were just
women
smoking everywhere.
Just, it was considered sexy.
Yeah,
planes,
a business.
Oh yeah, all the old 80s movies I watch, it is considered sexy.
Yeah, the women light up a smoke.
Both the guys and the girls, because he's a bad boy or she's
But even everybody had an ashtray at their desk in a cubicle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People were just smoking everywhere.
There's a bowling alley in Kissimmee that still has ashtrays in the stalls.
That's awesome.
The early beginnings of the internet where you just surf and read. I'm not talking. You didn't have any movies. Downloading pictures took a solid 10 seconds. I would sit at my gateway and smoke until that thing turned yellow. I'd be ICQ chatting. It was fun though. You would just smoke.
I smoke at my computer when I was in man.
I would get ashes in the keyboard. I'd take the keyboard outside with a bottle of canned air and blow the ashes out of the keyboard.
This is bad.
Disgusting.
Man.
There was a time where me, Crystal, and Fernando all lived together holding an OBT in Carlton Arms. And it was actually on a lake, it was brick places.
Ooh, fancy.
And had a tiny little back patio, and then the lake behind it. It was nice.
Was it a lake or a retention pond?
It was a lake back there, but the neighborhood. Some people know. Anyway.
No, I know the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's real rough. And then when me and Fernando lived in a room, this is before me and Crystal lived in the same bedroom.
Were you dating?
There was no date. We never dated. It was just
But were you banging?
Yeah, but we.
So wait, you were banging, but you
slept
go
in
to bed
different
with Fernando the rapist? What?
Yeah.
Dude, you
Yeah.
make some. You
we
and
had
Crystal,
double beds.
I think you
You
guys
had
are.
bunk beds?
I think they were on the floor mattress. There were two twin mattresses on the floor and then there was a computer.
I think you guys do really weird things, man. That is a weird.
I was a kid.
Why not
I don't know.
No, you're not a kid. You're dating Crystal.
Yeah.
Why did you just stay with her? She had her own room and you lived with
I was
Fernando?
20 years old. I was afraid of commitment. I don't know why.
All right.
I don't know. I can't tell you what I was thinking.
No, that makes sense.
I was like, am I ready to start living with a
She
woman?
wouldn't ask
already
you.
were
You were
living with
living with her, but she
No,
wouldn't ask you to.
we were roommates, basically.
She wouldn't ask you to stay in her room one night.
No, some days we would.
So you would pump her, and then you'd get up and go to Fernando's room.
Those nights I would stay in there, but some nights I'd sleep in her bedroom more.
Right.
But
occasionally you'd be like, "Oh, you're on your period." period, I'm gonna go
This is
stay in
bizarre.
Fernando.
I'm gonna go smoke with Fernando, and we're
If
gonna
you're on
play.
your period, I'm gonna go smoke and play Tony Hawk with Fernando.
Oh my
Is that
god,
pretty accurate?
Yeah. And I remember Lena pooped on Fernando's bed one time.
Come on, man.
Dude, what are you doing?
He hated her. But then Fernando got a bulldog and it ripped the hole.
How do you afford a bulldog?
I don't know. It ripped the whole
People get
kitchen
bulldogs,
apart.
Sam, and then they get rid of them. I know so
Oh,
many.
there's so
No,
you
I
you
know
must have lived in
no.
Carlton Arms South. They now have a Carlton Arms of Winter Park.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Our friend Heidi lived in the Carlton Arms.
The
Winter
nice
Park.
one?
The nice, yeah. It's the same company. It's just one. They
Yeah.
located
It's just
in
one's
Park.
nice and one's bad.
Well, yeah.
So you lived off of Lake Buchanan.
Yeah.
Lake Buchanan.
I remember Lena got out one time and then like ran into the swamps of Lake Buchanan.
Oh, my God.
And then refused to get out, and I had to take my shoes off and walk in there to grab. Like she was nervous sitting in the swamp because we were like, "Get off, get back
I
here."
will say that the reason you guys don't get a new dog is Lena.
Yeah.
she has some stories.
Yeah, Crystal wants it every day.
She has some stories.
It was a very much anything goes kind of dog.
Yeah,
you know?
Lena got to do what Lena wanted to do. Like
This is why I was like, "We're gonna have this problem again."
You probably will.
I know I will.
I am against you guys getting a dog.
That's what I say. Oh, she begs me, and then she gets the voice. And we're like, "We want to talk so much. Why are you stealing this from us?"
Oh.
Crystal tells him to tell me stuff like that, and I'm like, "You guys won't take care of
It's
it."
messed up, man.
Like, it takes responsibility.
It does. It does.
Anyway, all right. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye. That's funny. Where does that go?
That's Monday 3 and 4. Monday is 4/24. And Jana and Jason just said they'll see us next month. So
All right.
I offered to reschedule for today, but they were like, "Well, I'll see you next month." So back to sunglasses. Oh wait, let me get an intro for tonight and tomorrow, please.
Monday. What was the date?
4/24.
Let's talk about the intro you need. What do we do tonight?
Tonight's Kenny Samsel and tomorrow's Canadian Josh.
Kenny? Thank you.
No, it's Jeff Hell's birthday today.
Oh, cool.
Unless he put the wrong birthday on Facebook.
I haven't seen Jeff in a minute. Yeah, we tried to do Jana, but she was having an issue with, I believe, her computer. So tonight is Kenny, and tomorrow night is Canadian Josh. Oh, Ghost, yeah. SVK, I think, is doing quite well in trucking. And I don't think he misses radio at all.
We need to get an update from him.
He doesn't like to do it. Hit him up. He answers you.
Well, no. Every once in a while, he'll text me. He's like, He's like, I need to talk to you about podcasting. And then I'm like, yeah, no problem. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
I'm like, where did that come from?
The feeling's probably fleeting, right? He's like, one moment he does, and then he's like, nah.
I think he's comfortable. I think he's making bank. I think he likes the traveling and he meets interesting people. He likes being alone. He's always been that type of guy where he likes to be. I think he'd echo
But
all
honestly,
of this.
like, I'm sure there probably is already a podcast about this because there's a podcast about anything. But like podcasting over the road driving, just talk while you drive.
Yeah,
I'm sure there is, but he is good.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm sure there's one that exists, but his would be really good.
He would destroy them. Yeah, because he's got the reps. All right.
I'd love to if he did that. And
there's a lot of TikTokers that do that.
And just sent us the audio.
I'll put it together.
Yeah, we put it together.
It'll take me 5 minutes to edit that into something great.
We'll sell it.
Talk to some lot lizards.
And then get him a portion of them.
I will say this. If you haven't gone back and listened to the stories he did on his podcast, they're still up there now. He did some with his dad that you can go and listen to.
Yeah.
Where it's him and his dad sitting down. His dad's telling old stories. It's awesome. Go and listen to it. It's really good. All right, Kenny. I got some. Hey, Kenny's outside, and I think he brought his drones.
Oh, God.
I'm so over the drones.
Oh, I know what they do. They fly around.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
It's 2014. Okay, that's mean. How do we even have guests on our show? This is Canadian Josh. I would be mean again.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, God, Canadian Josh.
Oh, God. Wait till Ben Bungie hears.
I'd rather have Kenny's drones. Where are the drones when you need them?
Yeah, better than Canada.
All right. Perfect.
Check. Hey. Tonight on a corporate time with Tom and Dan. Tom and Dan, welcome from the Two Moves podcast, Mr. Kenny Samsels on the program. And here they are, the Evian and Fuji water of radio, Tom and Dan. Tonight on a corporate time with Tom and Dan. Tom and Dan welcome Canadian Josh to the program. And here they are, the Uno and Skipbo of radio, Tom and Dan.
Yeah, it probably is Fiji, but it doesn't matter. It's the last thing people hear. So, and I go fast, and I never redo them. Have them.
There's like 20 left.
Oh, really? You guys almost done? Yeah. Fucking A. Flying. All right, guys. Well, hey, have a good rest of your 420, people. I hope you guys enjoy it and be safe.